Hello everyone and welcome back to a bit of a different video today. Now, of course, Formula 1 this weekend is heading down to Mexico City, and this circuit, I think it's safe to say, isn't the biggest one, that fans like in Formula 1. It's a little bit boring. Of course, the only real interesting element for many years was obviously the high altitude, and now all the teams seem to have figured that out, with probably the exception of Alpine. The racing here is not always the greatest. Of course, for the home fans, you got Sergio Perez. For obviously every other Red Bull fan, you got Max Verstappen, who is just all-conquering around this circuit over so many years in recent history. Now, obviously, normally on these videos, I like to, last week out we went to Indianapolis again to see what the US Grand Prix would be like at a new venue. Mexico doesn't really have any other tracks that I could find that would be anywhere near suitable to Formula 1. So today I've decided to stay in Mexico City at exactly the same track. Except for this time round, we're going to take on the Formula E version. Yes, it's at the same venue. It's a completely different circuit though. So let's just wait and see as to how a Formula 1 car would handle a Formula E track. Well, as always then, with the script of these videos, we'll go out, we'll do a couple of laps, we'll kind of talk through it, and then we'll decide to dive in with a race. Now, the Formula E circuit is 2.6 kilometres. That's about 1.5 miles, so it's half a mile shorter than Monaco. I'd argue it's narrower than Monaco, and probably even slower than Monaco as well. Now, of course, Formula E, they're kind of in their autumn break, if you will. Obviously, their season starts in December and kind of runs through to sort of June, July, and then they kind of let Formula 1 do all the exciting stuff with their championship as well. So, yeah, Formula E back in just like 6 weeks' time, actually. I think it starts again on the same weekend Formula 1 ends in Abu Dhabi. I enjoy the series. It's not the greatest in the world over the last couple of years. It has kind of just been all about saving battery for the final couple of laps, which has been really stupid. But, often if I've got a free hour or so, I'll tune in. I like to try and keep up with it roughly and everything going on with this series. Now, I believe it's really only here and Monaco that kind of Formula 1 and Formula E really overlap on the same venue. So, yeah, this is quite a unique opportunity to kind of see what a Formula 1 car would it be like. So start-finish line, exactly the same place as you expect in Formula 1, but you haven't got the huge run down in towards turn 1. You're very quickly on the brakes, actually, through a very, very fun right-hand sweeper there, down in about 4th gear. The circuit will arc over to the right-hand side, and then you've got to try and tuck it in through that almost hairpin left-hander. Up in towards the top of the circuit, though, again, you've got to nail a right-handed hairpin, and now you're back on the Formula 1 track, although only temporary. This is the DRS zone. Obviously on the Formula 1 circuit down in towards the stadium section, we've got a chicane there because I think the run would be too small. I can already see that chicane being a bit of an issue in a Formula 1 car. And then as we make our way into the Forest Sol, see we've actually got pretty much the same run actually in, and then this is just completely different. It's tight, it's narrow, there's like 4 left-handers in a row before then you come back out the same way you went in. And then you go all the way around the stadium. This bit, I don't really understand. I don't know why you wouldn't just come out the stadium like you do in Formula 1. But I guess it basically gives you more of an opportunity. Obviously, if you're in the Forest Sol, then obviously you get to enjoy kind of watching the cars come through more. Now, Mexico is normally quite early on in the season. I remember last year, actually, the girlfriend and I watched this Formula E race together. It's usually carnage as well, mainly in the Forest Sol, because everyone is kind of locking up and brake checking each other, and all this, that, and the other. And I believe we call that the Dan Tictum line as well. I mean, yeah, it's twisty, it's narrow, it's quintessential Formula E. Now, that's not to say Formula E is a bad series or anything like that, but it does, yeah. I mean, that, to be fair, that's actually possible now. I think this is one of the more sensible Formula E tracks to try and throw any other car around, to be completely honest. I mean, this section just feels, I mean, to be fair, the normal Formula 1 section through there feels very, very tight and narrow and kind of awkward at the best of times, so that's not very different. And I tell you what, actually, this final sector, completely flat out through here, you actually give yourself a much better run out to the start-finish straight than you do in Formula 1 as well. I mean, we're doing almost 300 clicks by the time we get into the braking zone at turn 1. So that corner as well, really high speed, high commitment. Got to be avoiding that wall on the outside because it will catch you out. The rest of the track, though, apart from just being a little bit slow and awkward, which everyone still apparently praises Monaco for, actually isn't that bad. Like, there's some really, really good elements here. Obviously, you would never make it to Formula 1, and of course, if you even lock up just a little bit, immediately you're met by wheel spin and awkwardness and just a one-way trip to the barriers. But again, that's what happens in Monaco. So, VRC, actually, who this mod is from. I'll leave a link down in the description below as well. They do actually do a Formula E car. I want them to do a few more Formula E tracks because I could be tempted at some point in the future to try and do like a mini Formula E career mode, although likely I would actually do that on R Factor. But let's try and go for a full-on attack lap then, see what we can do. I mean, yeah, 270 clicks over the start-finish line there. It's barely flat out by the time you get round to that final corner there. There's a horrible little patch of grass as well on the outside through turn 1 as you really want to try and open up, obviously make that corner as wide as you can. See, if you nudge that grass too badly, it is absolutely going to catch you out as well. Like I said, that hairpin, it is impossible to put the power down. Just every time I seem to run a little bit wide out towards the grass and then can't do anything with it. Right, well, I've put on a set of the softest compounded tyre that Formula 1 has available to it. I've taken all the fuel out, and I've put all the wing onto the car. I want to just try and get one clean lap here, because I actually think the pace difference is going to be pretty similar to what we saw in Indianapolis last week, which they're two very, very different circuits, so I'm kind of all for it. I guess the similarities end that they both have a right-handed turn 1, but, I mean, yeah, this place is... I mean, Formula E, I always just find, you know, it is one of the disappointing things about a lot of the tracks are quite awkward. I've remembered now as well, obviously they also both go to Shanghai, don't they? Formula E and Formula 1. But, I mean, yeah, these just obviously, and I've driven the Formula E cars and things like that, obviously. Whoa, I might let go of the steering wheel there. In various sims as well. I mean, they're a handful nowadays, eh? Some people just kind of assume Formula E, they're quite easy to drive. The tyres on them have zero grip. Like, you're basically... I mean, you're drifting the car so much of the time. You really do have to slide it and kind of have confidence to kind of drift. But especially when the walls are that close, that's really, really difficult to do. Like, you can see why a lot of people that... You know, a lot of people kind of still view Formula E as, like, the failed F1 driver series. Yes, I think there's still a little bit of that at play, but that's not to say that most of the drivers aren't incredibly talented still, because, like I said, these tracks alone are not easy. Would I ever see Formula 1 racing around here? Of course not. I just want to try and get one lap on the board, though. It's not going to happen. Let's go chuck 20 or so Formula 1 cars at this and see how crazy it gets. Well, I think they might have made an error here, because not only can you put 20 Formula 1 cars on the grid, I can also put 20 more Formula E cars as well. So we've got a 40-car grid ready for this race. I see this only going one way, but I'm just genuinely intrigued to see kind of the time difference between the F1 cars and the Formula E cars here. I don't even know how many laps I've set the race up for. I think it's a 5-lapper. So it's not going to be the longest race in the world. But will I even get to the front of the Formula E grid? It's 6 red lights. And it's going to be lights out, and away we go now. I would expect us to get a pretty good start. I think the Formula E drivers are a little bit lost and concerned as to what is happening. So we will say thank you very much and get down the inside of, well, at least half of them, I think, before we even get in towards turn 1 there. I probably should have let all the Formula E drivers start in front. But I kind of figured that might be a little bit too crazy there. I mean, we have got that grip around the outside of them early on. I mean, it gives you a good idea. Oh, sorry. As to just... Oh, I'm so sorry. Come on, move now, please. I've apologised. It should give you just a little idea of how much, you know, how ridiculously quick the Formula 1 cars are. Those Formula E cars, they genuinely, on a couple of practice laps I did with those, staggered me. How obviously quick they were in a straight line, of course. Just, you know, electric acceleration is a very, very powerful tool. But, I mean, yeah, in comparison to these things, it's like having warp drive still in a Formula 1 car. So we've already lost one. I don't know whether that's a Formula E or a Formula 1, but as we'll try and... I mean, we've still got more Formula E cars to navigate here. I don't even know if we're going to catch up to the Formula 1 grid just yet, but Sorry. Where are the Formula 1 cars? Have they all survived that pretty cleanly? That was a little bit sketchy, but we'll get around him. Like, have they all just kind of taken off at the roach? I think I might need to swap the grid around. Because now I've got to the front of all the FE cars. Oh, there's a Formula E car just abandoned. I think he's retired. The Formula E cars seem to cause more drama here than the Formula 1 cars have. I haven't even come across an F1 car yet. What is this? Right, I'm going to put all the Formula E cars in front. We'll go again. Right, here we go. This time round then, Formula E cars at the front. Now everybody else has got to try and navigate their way through. It is 6 red lights once again. And it's lights out, and away we go there. Yeah, I don't think any of the AI are really like kind of the twisty final corner there, as we are immediately going to try and move our way right towards the front of the F1 group there. That might be one of the best starts ever, as that is, yeah, not nice. It's turn 1. I guess in a Formula E car where the speeds are a bit slower, it isn't as scary, but it is still kind of what I like to call squeaky bum time. In towards those first couple of corners, we've got a little bit of bumping and bashing going on. Have we got a car park? Not quite yet, although we're getting pretty close to. As we'll try and have a look around the outside. I didn't even realise, I think there's grass there as well. On the exit of the corner there, as we're going to get a big pinch from whoever that was. Come on, I mean, we sorry. Oh, he's in a wall. No, he's not. Is he? He's fine. He's fine. Yeah, you can't go. No, I've been turned. You can't go side by side through the corners, and I think we've created a roadblock. Well, we'll try and move out of the way now. Thank you. That's the other issue in Formula E. When someone spins, basically everybody else gets caught up behind it. And I think in all of that, I'm basically back down to last place. Hopefully, the field will begin to spread out just a little bit more. As we're going to get dived down the inside there by one of my fellow Formula 1 cars. We've got the first retirement of the day. I'm genuinely staggered that they put 40 cars on this circuit. This guy having a look down our inside. How's he got that much more straight line speed than me? I didn't even realise as well there's DRS back down in towards turn 1. You can see, yeah, we carry so much speed through that first corner. So much speed there. We're not even last yet. We've still got another, at least one driver behind, and suddenly everybody else in front again. Down the inside we'll go. I mean, that's probably, especially when others are being patient with each other, probably one of the only overtaking spots on this track. But I think we've got more issues around the outside of about 5 cars. Right up towards the wall on the exit, but I think we're slowly getting there. I think this track is becoming viable for Formula 1. I mean, imagine watching this in the Forest. Soul! Oh no, I've tagged him. I mean, this must be the most entertaining motorsport event you'll ever come and see. I'm staggered they don't do like demolition derbies in there or something like that. Because I think people would pay to come watch that. So why is everybody going slow through the final corner? It's because there's a Formula E car! I might have misjudged that. I apologise, Mr. Formula E. I don't really know who drives where that well. I try and watch it where I can, but I'm not that great at keeping up with it. I mean, every corner I go through, there's just dust being kicked up by someone and a dive bomb coming in. I think there was a tiny bit of contact that time, but we'll live to tell the tale. Can we still get to the front? I mean, I genuinely think a Formula E car is probably going to win this, as we're losing more and more drivers. People, AI, are getting a little bit confused here. I'm looking forward to a set of Corsa 2. Maybe it'll see the AI become less confused, more confused. I don't really know. Either way, I'm really looking forward to it. Haven't really done a video kind of on everything that was announced at Sim Racing Expo. But yeah, I think there's some really, really cool stuff both in this kind of the digital and physical world coming to sim racing in the near future there as well. Come on, down the inside, not like that. And I'm going to get turned again, and I'm on top of another car. Come on. This is this is not good. Oh no. Oh, that's not good. I'm sorry. I don't know what I've caused. I think there's a gap around here. Yes, there is. And we've escaped. CPU occupancy, 99%. So, for reference, I've got a Ryzen 9 5950X. So that was 32 threads being pushed to the limit there. That is staggering. Staggering. Assetto Corsa. I mean, this game's, what, 10 years old? And it still will push your hardware to the absolute limit when it wants to. Oh, come on. Nice and tidy. No! Oh, I forget about that hairpin, man. Sorry. Oh, I've done it again. No, have I? I don't know. Oh, no, that's up. I don't know how many cars we've got left running at this stage. The steering as well on this thing is so heavy at low speed, as others have gone for a spin as well. We're P33. Leader's already on the final lap, so Formula E, I think, is legitimately going to win this. So there you go. Formula E is now officially the fastest motorsport series in the world, as that was certainly track limits there. The AI, the Formula 1 cars, they have got no idea, absolutely no idea what to do on a track like this. I mean, the curbs are big, the track is so ridiculously narrow. You also seemingly absolutely cook the tyres because there's so many little traction zones as well there. But I think we are now officially last of all your remaining runners. So that, I think, is going to be a running theme throughout all these little challenge videos we do. And I don't even get a chance to try and go for a fast flying final lap either. Indy was legitimately like, could this work? Mexico, yeah, I think, well, I'll be honest, I think once Checo's gone, Mexico's going to be off the calendar anyway. To be completely honest, I think it will be dropped pretty soon after. But, yeah, they haven't really got any other options. Unless someone can tell me down below, like, where could... Thank you. Oh, my tyres are absolutely shredded. Are there any other tracks in Mexico that Formula 1, like, not even legitimately, because I know there'll be nowhere else that's grade 1, but like that you'd like to see me try? Hello, Formula E cars, I'm so sorry. This is not on. Come on, go past me, please. Please, I just want to finish. Oh, this has not gone well. This has not been a fruitful endeavour today, but that's what these fun little videos are about. I think I've actually got a puncture. It feels like the front right is lifting up slightly more. Maybe I've got a puncture. Yeah, I've definitely got a puncture. I think we're screwed. I just want to try and get to the end so I can get like the final results and a replay and everything. But yeah, like I said, let me know down in the comments below. Is there anywhere that Formula E should like legitimately consider? Sorry, not Formula E. Is there anywhere that Formula 1 should legitimately consider? For like a different race in Mexico, if it was going to? Are we just going to end up getting a 4th US Grand Prix? I suppose you could try and label Texas as like when San Marino was hosted at Imola, even though it wasn't actually in the right country. I feel like the Americans would have an issue with that though, at the end of the day. But I tell you what, yeah, this mod is fantastic as well. Like I said, I want to see more Formula E kind of tracks come to Assetto Corsa. Or maybe I just need to buy all the R Factor 2 DLC as well and kind of go from there. But through the final corner we'll go. Very, very easy on the throttle. Formula 1 at a Formula E circuit, it's not the one, I'm afraid. It just simply is not the one. But we will survive. And as you can see, there was actually only one Formula E car that won by 0.2 of a second over an F1 car there. So it was actually a much closer battle than I ever thought it would be. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon with more Formula 1 content.